my book?
I've only read a little bit of it, and it's called Eternal Hell. Hell's Aim, Heaven's Love by Dave Leach, the author, right here. Well, Dave, I only read a little bit about it, and let me tell you something. It's something else. It's gonna be a big hit. I think you should sell more copies on your website. It's controversial, let me tell you that much. Talks about hell.
Did you notice it? Do you remember anything it says about it?
Dave, you're the author. Please tell us all about it.
No, I'd rather you say something so that I can correct you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read a little bit about it here. Hellfire is spiritual reality. It is justice. That's all I want to read. Hell offers potential purification. That's... A lot of people are going to say, what? Hell offers potential purification. What do you guys think about that? Dave, can you explain to us what hell offers potential purification?
Purification.
I'm sorry.
Purification. In the book of Revelation, it talks about the lake of fire and brimstone. Well, it's real interesting. The word fire it's actually spelled pure in Greek. P-U-R. And it means pure. And every time that fire is mentioned in the Bible, its purpose is given as purification. In Malachi 3 says that prophesied when Jesus would come to purify the Pharisees. And he described Jesus coming as a refiner and putting the Pharisees in a refiner's fire. Now, obviously, Jesus did not put them in physical, literal fire. Matter of fact, the disciples came to him and offered to call down fire from heaven to burn up the Samaritans for turning away Jesus. And Jesus says, no, you don't know what spirit that you're of here. Let's not have any more talk like that. But the Pharisees might have been happier in literal physical fire than what Jesus put them through. And so a lake of divine, or a lake of fire and brimstone, fire, pure, purification, the lake of purification. Now the word brimstone, brimstone, the Greek word is Theoi, I think. Theoin. It means divine. And it's the same, it's almost the same word as theos, God. And so when it's talking about the lake of fire and brimstone, it's literally saying it's a lake of divine purification. This is just one of 12 indications that something good happens in hell. Let me tell you another one.
Okay.
If I may.
Go for it.
Mark 9. It says, if your right hand offends you, cut it off. It's better for you to go through life maimed than it is to go into heaven or go into hell with both hands.
Correct.
I repeated that with your foot and your eye. Then it says, in hell where their worm dieth not. Now that has tormented commentators. Their plural, worm singular, like as if there's one single worm in hell that everyone is common to everyone, or that everyone has. Now, maggots, of course, would be by the millions if that's the kind of worm he's talking about. The worm that is the kind of worm it is not specified in Mark, but it is specified in the parallel passage in Isaiah 66, where it's talking about a battlefield, and it's talking about the corpses lying all around, and it's talking about the crimson worm. Now, the Hebrew distinguishes between ordinary maggots and the crimson worm. Have you ever heard of the crimson worm before?
I have not.
The crimson worm is a fascinating little creature that it's where the crimson dye comes from for very rich people that can afford to go around gathering these things. The worm lays its eggs on a piece of wood. Think about the cross. Lays its eggs on a piece of wood and then dies and lets its blood spill over the eggs to nourish them. What an amazing analogy of the cross of Jesus Christ. But if that's what Jesus is, their worm, and it would explain why it's singular. You see, a talent is 100 pounds. One talent, 100 pounds of gold. Can you imagine how much that's worth?
Yeah.
And he owed 10,000 talents. Now, a talent can either be a weight, it's 100 pounds, it can be either 100 pounds of silver or of gold. So, but silver's worth a lot too. So, and you can calculate, back in those days, a penny was a day's labor, a day's wage, or even for a Roman soldier, or for a laborer in the field. And it was a good wage. And so, I don't remember, it's got it in my book, I don't remember the exact figures, but so you can calculate how many weeks it would take for a person working at 1 penny a day in those days to earn an ounce of gold, and you can project how much for a talent and how much for 10,000. And I've calculated that to pay off 10,000 talents of gold, or even silver, at the rate of a penny a day, would take 500,000 years.
Wow, it's a long time.
Now, so the story goes, the guy owes 10,000 talents he could not be an ordinary laborer, could go into debt that far. He had to be a tributary prince in reporting to a king that was over him. But so his master, his king over him, said, "You haven't paid me," and so he ordered the other servants to take this guy and put him in debtor's prison, where he could earn at least some of it back. So he begged and fell on his knees and says, "Please, master, I'll give me another chance. I'll repay everything." So the master wisely didn't accept that, but just said, "Oh, just forget it." Just forgave him, frankly forgave him. Then that guy went off and found another guy that owed him 100 pence. Well, that's 100 days' labor. And that servant fell down at this first servant's feet and did the same thing, be merciful. But he wasn't. Threw him in debtor's prison. And so the king found out about that, said, "Look, I forgave you all of that, and you wouldn't forgive 100 days worth of labor for another guy?" And he reversed. He took away the grace that he'd given him. And look, Christians, pay attention, because he's saying that you can be forgiven and you can lose your forgiveness. Because at the end of this, Jesus said, this is the way God will judge you. So, he said, throw him into the debtor's prison. But then he said an amazing thing. He said, until he should pay what is owed. Well, 500,000 years of labor would take to pay what was owed. Why didn't he just say until he's dead? Now, if it was just about earth, if he hadn't said this is the way God is going to judge you, then you think, Jesus, why did you say that? Don't you understand that he can never repay what was owed?
Okay.
But if he's talking about what God, the way God is going to judge us, then if there is, as Jesus suggests in this parable, a finite amount owed, then there is time. There is going to be time to pay it. And now Jesus could have picked on different analogies. He could have picked banishment or execution. But he picked a debtor's prison that has a finite amount to be repaid, at the end of which debtors are released.
Right.
So that was about 12 proofs like that my book builds upon.
Like I was mentioning to you before we started taping, that's something that a lot of people are going to have problem understanding, a lot of problem comprehending, I would say, a lot of problem applying that. I mean, what do you have to say to people that think that you're crazy?
Well, in the first place, this is such a people have been developing opinions about hell for so many centuries. Anytime anyone comes along with a different idea than anyone's ever talked about before, I mean, evidence is in scriptures, it just becomes irrelevant to the discussion. I mean, there's no room in people's thinking for truth or evidence. It's just like, it's unthinkable from the get-go, so why even look at the evidence? It's immaterial. We have no need to do that. We already know it's wrong.
That's right. Like fluoride, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And people can put it in the water.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, it's a very interesting book, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to tell people what I think about it in our next section. But in the meantime, let's say that if somebody wants a copy of it, how can they contact you about it?
Well, it's on sale at Amazon, or you can stop by the Family Music Center and get an autographed copy for you.
It's on Amazon, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. How many copies you got out there? Unlimited?
Oh well, they don't actually stock it. It's called a print-on-demand publisher. It's like an elaborate copy machine, and whenever an order comes in, they print one. They can print one, or they can print 1,000, and it's really changed publishing. It means you don't have to stock inventory. You can just make your profits. Print one up and send search an order.
Nice. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk about this book. I'm going to put it everywhere.
You're going to put it everywhere.
Yeah, like Facebook and stuff. Tell my friends about it, what I think. Controversial issue about Dave Leach. I mean, if you're not controversial enough, Dave.
Yeah, this kind of helps along that, to establish that reputation. Say, the title there is Eternal Hell, God's Loving Purpose.
Heaven's Loving Purpose.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot your own title?
My title. And then at the bottom it says, a treasure hunt through the Word of God.
By Dave Leach. Eternal Hell, Heaven's Loving Purpose. Well, there is a saying, right? Well, it's not a saying. Better is one day in your throne than 1,000 elsewhere. So
Say that again.
Better is one day in your throne.
In your
In your
before God's throne.
Yeah, before God's
Okay.
throne, than 1,000 elsewhere.
Okay.
So
And really, the message of the book is the idea that you can repay, or that you can sin now and then just get out of hell later. It's not the way it works. The problem is if you are deliberately inclined to sin now. Now keep in mind what sin is. The word sin, amartia, means to miss the mark. Now, you can't miss a mark at which you are not aiming. So it's not describing necessarily God's goals for you, which are not your goals. But rather, there's many scriptures indicate God's goals for us are for us to reach our goals, to achieve the things which will be good for us. I mean, what are we going to do that's good for God? That's going to help God any? I mean, can we give him his TV bill, or I mean,
I'm pretty sure he's got a.
can we buy him a Big Mac or something? What could we give God of value? Same as a baby. What can a baby do for his parents? His parents take care of him because they love him.
That's right.
And love is not only is its own reward, fortunately for us, but it's the only reward there is. We can't repay God, and
That's true.
And so, if you sin, if you want to sin, that means you want to fail at the things that you even care about. And if you want to do that, if you like failure, if you like lies, if you like violence, if you like living in a bunch of filth, any of the things that God doesn't want for us, if you want these things rather than the presence of God, even for a moment, how are you going to protect your heart from being hardened to the point that you're going to reject God's presence and fellowship forever?
That is correct, sir.
That's the danger. The danger is not that you're going to be thrown against your will into far more suffering than you could ever imagine. The danger is that you will choose to leave everything wonderful for everything horrible.
And people nowadays choose that day in and day out. That's why we have the number one business in America, which is prison. And that's a whole different subject. Let's not even talk about that, because then we're going to need another hour to talk about this. But it's true. So check it out, people. Eternal hell.
And with that, we're out of time for today.
All right. Well, you know how to contact us, Dave. Tell people how to contact us.
Go ahead.
You tell them. I don't know.
Tell them how to contact you.
How to contact me? No, you. Okay. How can they contact me? You tell them, Dave. I'll let you do the.
I don't know.
You do the final
it's
time.
hard enough. It's hard enough for me to figure out how to contact you.
Oh, okay.
But I return some of my phone calls, I guess. But you can catch me at the Family Music Center anytime.
And people can Google that online and find the address and phone number and everything.
Or you can email me at pilgrim@saltshaker.us. Or let's see, Dave Leach at saltshaker.us. Or music at saltshaker.us. Or let's see what else.
Saltshaker.us. One word. Saltshaker, right?
Yeah.
Just,
Saltshaker.
maybe we should do an Alex at saltshaker.us. Can we do that?
Alex?
Yeah. Is that possible?
We certainly could.
All right.
Do you want me to set that up for you?
Let's set it up. Alex at Saltshaker US or Alejandro.
Which one would you rather?
Alejandro.
Alejandro. For the gringos out there, you better spell that.
It's ALEJANDRO. Alejandro at saltshaker.us. And we're out of time, but contact us soon.
O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. 1,000 ages in thy sight are like an evening gone, short as the watch that ends the night before the rising sun.